Hello, everybody.
What was that?
Hello. What is up? We got Sal, we got Aiden, we got Charlie, we got our favorite, Alice.
Yes, the queen.
Yeah, don't let it get to your head though, Alice. You are our favorite, but don't let it get to your head.
Sorry, everybody.
Sorry, everyone else.
Yeah.
No, totally kidding. But welcome, Stanleys. We have a long overdue discussion about
Hey,
Andor,
Hosh.
right? It's been like what, 2 weeks, I think, right?
Only one, I think, since the episode aired. We just didn't go. It was Thanksgiving the next 2 days. 2-day Thanksgiving. It was.
Did we go live the Thursday before that?
Yes.
Actually.
Well, that was the one with X-Wing, right?
Oh yes, it's been 2 weeks for me then. In that case, but 1 week since Andor ended.
Since Cassian Andor.
Cassian Ender.
Cassian Ender.
Cassian Ender. He only said that once, didn't he?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Remember that trailer they dropped? I think the show was called Ender.
Remember?
When are we gonna get that show?
Remember that time when he said Cassian Ender? Yeah. I don't remember hearing him say that many times, and that was the whole reason why I watched the show.
Trailer bait.
Haven't seen you guys in like 2 weeks, mate. Yeah, I know.
Time works differently in Australia. Alice.
Yeah, so like 1 week here is like 10 years over there. So I understand, Alice. I 100% makes sense. Anyway, okay, let's talk about the finale, right?
Yeah, buddy.
Do you want to pull up the episode for the finale, and then afterwards we can just go into like an overall discussion about the show, where it's just our screens, or you want to just keep it like this, Zach? What do you think?
Let's just keep it like this.
Okay. Let's see. I rewatched. I don't know if you guys have rewatched it since, but I rewatched the entire show, and I have a lot of thoughts that we can go into later about how I feel it compares to not only Kenobi, but just how like it compares to how you should actually go about a character-driven Star Wars show, right? The final episode, I think, kind of sewn all the oats together, and that we were able to not only hear Nemik's, I think Nemik or Nemik. I don't.
Anemic.
What's the other name that we had that we make fun of, sounding like cereal? Yeah, cereal. So we have cereal and we have anemic. But we got Nemik's manifesto, so that was something. We got it. Not only did we get it, but we got it at a time when Andor is at his low point, right? And he's like trying to muster strength, and we get to see Luthen tied in with the manifesto, kind of arriving on Ferrix. So that was just a beautiful sequence. And then but before that, we got the flutes, we got the instruments, we got the bricks and the screws, as you guys.
Oh.
Yeah, Zach, are you familiar with all of that nonsense? Yeah.
No.
I mean, there's just overblown drama about something that Theory said. But
yeah,
it just kind of is emblematic of what the community is kind of like. I used to think when we were going into the show, or at least halfway through the show, that it was extremely divisive. But after seeing a lot of different YouTube creators and other channels with other fan bases and those comments, like everyone's like overtly positive about the whole thing. Like I'm seeing overwhelmingly positive feedback about how Andor's been and how excited they are for season 2. And then I go to some other creators and it's kind of like the most boring show in the world, whatever. But the majority, I would say, it's positive. So
that's what's been interesting. I literally just filmed a video about this right before this, but can you guys agree with me? Like, I mean, or tell me if I'm wrong or if you disagree, but I feel like
you're wrong,
this
Kat.
show has been the most, not polarizing, but like, I would say the overall reception around, like, say, Mando, Kenobi, A Book of Boba has, once it levels out and we take off the rose-colored glasses after each show, like, I feel like the reception throughout the fandom is pretty much unanimous and isn't straight like too much. Versus I feel like with Andor, or like it's polar opposites, like people saying this is the best Disney Star Wars content that we have gotten. I'm living for this. And then people like genuinely don't see how other people like the show. Like, do you feel like I mean, following your point, Alex, like I feel like I've seen the most stark contrast in the reception of this show.
I think it was after the finale, right? Like after the finale, I think everyone kind of in retrospect realized, holy shit, this is like a masterpiece, right?
Yeah,
Maybe not quite where it is yet because we don't have a season 2, so you can't really say it's like a perfect show yet because it's
true.
not all fully fledged out and it's not leading into Rogue One yet. But I feel like for what it is, it's exactly where it needs to be. I want to get Zach's thoughts on all that though.
I think that it's all a matter of how you perceive Star Wars. I think that's really what it comes down to. If you're willing to, if your borders of Star Wars are pretty blurred, and like you can accept different elements and you can accept differences than like what Star Wars to be. Like, for example, like Theory grew up with the prequels, like he's very obviously like prequel oriented. And things that aren't like the prequels, I feel like he tends not to like, or like things that don't have the elements through the originals, he tends not to like. Um, I think that Andor was great because it wasn't like anything we've ever seen. I think the differences about it made it amazing to me. But not everybody's like that. Some people just want Star Wars to be what Star Wars is to them, and I understand that. I just don't like when they get all loud and angry that the rest of us are having fun. Like, you know?
Yeah, it's really weird to kind of be in like the corner of that needs to be a certain way, like there's a certain formula for it, because I feel like that's only detrimental to the overall IP, right? I feel like as someone who literally wants more Star Wars, you should want different perspectives. And this is something I want to say, this is something that Andor does really well. It's perspective, right? You don't see overblown CGI shots. You don't have like some stupid volume. You literally have all the locations. You have the breathing in cold in like the cold location that they're shooting. You can see the breath. You wouldn't see that if they're shooting in a closed set in the volume. You get so much perspective from the point of view of not only the rebellion like starting out, but also as the Empire, right? Every shot you see them walking in like a realistic looking scenario, and you can't really tell what's fake or not. Whereas there's a lot of shots in Kenobi where you're like, either it looks really fake or it doesn't look real enough. Like it looks like a backlot of Paramount, right? And it just is insane to me, right? And like you can say it's boring, you can say it's slow, but if you actually really dive deep and look at the show and watch the show and listen to what they're saying and actually pay attention, like the writing, it's like some of the greatest Star Wars we've ever gotten, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I want to Barb's basement's obviously like joking here, but I think this is an important point as to like why I like the show so much. It isn't about like these massive characters that are like synonymous with Star Wars, like in our pop culture and whatever. Like Anakin Skywalker, I love Anakin, one of my favorite characters, but like you can almost see the trademark on his back, like he's a
Yeah.
character. You know what I mean? Whereas these characters in the show, they feel more human, like they're more like us, and the whole show feels more
Mm,
grounded and real because of it. And like I was invested, man. Like in the finale, when the parade is happening and tensions are rising, and you can feel that the people of these oppressed people are about to explode and attack the Empire. Like you can just feel that building through the scene, and it was so good. And I'm not sure that we've ever really had anything like that in Star Wars before.
You're
yeah,
so right. Yeah. Go ahead, Alex.
100%. Oh no, you can go ahead, Kat. I'll just follow.
No, I was gonna say you're right on the money, Zach. That's exactly what I've loved about this show this entire time. It's so much more like it's the organic roots of the rebellion, and there's no effing lightsabers in sight. There's no Jedi that we know of, and even still, people were are clinging to like, oh, I think Luthen could be a Jedi, and I'm like, no, the point of this show, like, sure, I'm not trying to shade anybody if that's your theory, because I
but
know a
but
lot of people have that
but
theory.
but even though the fact that that's even happening proves that it's more Star Wars than we've ever gotten, right? We're getting theories. We're getting some cool like little like even if they're over the top, we're still getting theories, right?
Mhm.
What up? What's up, Pixel? Here's a couple more names to make fun if you're Croatian: Marva, Scum, Pegla, Clothes Iron, Anto, Hillbilly, name for Anthony.
What?
Okay. Kino Theater. Well, I know Kino. I know that because of Call of Duty.
Kino
Yeah,
Dertoten,
Kino
yeah.
Kino Dertoten. Yeah. Davo means giver, to name a few. So Sir Davos is a giver.
From
Anyway,
Game of Thrones.
well, I just totally pulled that from Game of Thrones too, but because it's used in Game of Thrones. But anyway, um, I wanted to say like yes, Kat, and like not only is it different, but it like explores like not only the nuance but the difficulties of standing up to a tyrannical overlord, right? And we're so used to seeing like that formula of, we're gonna fulfill our destiny. We're just some random person plucked, and we're supposed to identify with that character. Obviously, that's the point. It's like the hero's journey. But this is different in that it's like more gritty. It's all like, to Zach's point, they're just random people. Like they're just normal people. They're not force sensitive. They're not special. They're just normal people standing up to tyranny. And that's what's like so different. That's what's like important, because it's like it's more reactive to a true moral dilemma that 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 it comes with the human condition, right?
Yeah.
It's
Mhm.
it's hard. It's tough to really kind of understand the perspective of Ray or the perspective of Luke sometimes, right? Like you can understand
Yeah.
like his journey, but he's not us, right? And this is like the one of the few times where he really is us, and it's just regular people that make up the rebellion, and that's what's so powerful about the show, right?
Yeah.
Um,
People risking their lives, people literally sacrificing themselves for
like
it. Like that
there's no
was
savior complex, right? It's just like
yes.
a whole team working together to achieve a goal, and that's what
That's
the
what I
rebellion is.
effing loved about this show. It was an ensemble piece, and you're so right, like character driven, and it wasn't just about Andor. I almost wish they hadn't even titled it that, because it initially, to Alice's point, like I was in the same boat. I was like, I didn't at the time need a show about him. I wasn't like super hyped about it because at the time Kenobi was the front runner. And I feel like it's such a deceptive title because it's about everything but like Andor. This show is driven by all the key players. Not to say Diego Luna like didn't do a fabulous job and that he wasn't the main protagonist, but like that's what I effing that's pure Star Wars to me. I hate when Star Wars just boils down to like one person. Like I feel like it did a little bit with I don't want to trash the sequel trilogy, but
Do it.
I've said that before. I
Do
prefer
it.
when it's an all hands on deck thing because that's what Star Wars is, and that's you're so right. It's about like people, normal people standing up and trying to do this together versus just boiling down to one hero. So yeah, sorry, I just had to go on that tangent because that's one of my favorite parts of
No,
this show.
it's
Yeah, I agree
fair.
with you. Like when you look at I will trash the sequels. I'll do what you could not. When you look at the end of Rise of Skywalker, I almost forgot the name of that movie because
Oh
I
my
hate it so
god.
much. But it really feels like there's Rey versus Palpatine, and then there's all this like noise in the background with like all these like millions of ships flying around in the air and explosions, and like it's just garbage. Like it's garbage noise. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't feel like they're working together to solve a problem. Whereas in this, it's like, oh my god, like these people are like you just get so hyped when the guy like uses Marva's brick to like hit the stormtrooper or whatever. Like you get so hyped
Yeah,
when
it's the grittiness that we've all wanted,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
Brasso.
it's like a riot. It's literally a riot in the streets of all these just normal people. Like they're not soldiers. They're just regular Sallys and Joes out there. And it was incredible. And it just hits you right to your core because like that could be your mom. That could be your uncle. That could be your best friend out there. Like and they're getting shot down, they're getting gunned down. And another thing that I like is on the other side of it, the imperial perspective, like Daedra gets like trampled and she's horrified. And
Mhm.
oftentimes in fiction, you kind of think like, how does this bad guy not know that they're a bad guy? Well, if you go into like Daedra's perspective, like these people almost freaking killed her. Like they look like savages to her. So of course
Mhm.
she's gonna be reaffirmed in her belief in the Empire. So it's just great writing all around.
Yeah, and I want to fulfill your point of, feeling like you're one of them and everything. Like a good example, like I wanted to say, this is true perspective cinematography, right? You could say, you could pay homage to like the fact that they showed the TIE fighter come by really fast and go away. And it was only from the perspective of the rebels. We didn't see who was flying it. We only saw the rebels. And with that, you really feel like you're there with them, right? And that was just another use of genius, not only editing but cinematography too. It's like just one long shot, like we're there watching it with them, right? And that's one of the most important parts about this. And not only with that one, but when we see, I always forget her name, but it's the girlfriend of the chick from Game of Thrones, the Indian woman. I always forget. I always
Oh,
Oh,
Vel?
no, the other one.
Vel's girlfriend. What is her
Cinta.
name?
Is it
Yes.
Cinta? Yeah. So you see Cinta looking up at the Star Destroyer, and like maybe she's only ever heard about him. She's never actually seen one. And like in that shot, you really feel that she's seen it. And it's actually it's powerful because in that moment you realize how scared people are of the Empire. There's like this fear tactic that they rely on. And when everyone's truly fearful, they're obedient, right? And the manifesto really kind of gives everyone that sense of we can take them on, right? And
Yeah.
you realize, wow, there really is more of us than them. And it's just overall, it's like there's so many themes of real life in this show, and it's not just there's no disconnect at all, really. Like it's just like real life in Star Wars, but like with like the cool sci-fi perspective, and then you see the inner workings of a created world. And I mean, it's everything from the costumes down to the cinematography down to the overall production. It's just a beautiful show, and it's so sad that people can't put down TikTok for 2 seconds and actually watch the entirety of the series, because I think it's beautiful.
I wanted to piggyback off of something you said a bit earlier, but like, I don't know about you guys, but this is the first time the Empire was actually like scary and like competent. Like, it's been a while, maybe since Empire Strikes Back, that I've really looked at the Empire and been like, how did these guys ever
True.
get into like it always felt like in Star Wars Rebels, they were like goons and idiots who always got like trumped by the Ghost crew like easily until Thrawn showed up. But even then, like Thrawn was getting bested too. And it's always just felt like they're a joke. And in this show, they felt like a fascist government. They felt like Nazi Germany. Like it was nuts. It was so well done.
You're so right. I rewatched the finale and it didn't hit me as much the first watch, but the second time through it really like hit me like he just screamed open fire on just all of these civilians. Like they don't give a flying frick.
Yeah, we actually
They're
got to
like
see
fire at
stormtroopers as
will.
soldiers.
Yeah,
Like they were hitting their shots. They were
Yeah.
going ham, right?
It was
And
horrific. Yeah.
and like another thing I wanted to talk about with like the production is, you really get, after rewatching it, you really get a lot of the really deep sensory details too. I don't know if you noticed, but you see like pistachios opening up, you see eating cereal, you see like them eating like the Thai food or whatever, the Star Wars Thai food.
Yeah.
You see when he's getting booked, you see just like the close-up shots of like the stamp, and it's like those little tiny details that you need to like establish the world, right? And to feel a part of it. And they do it. They nail it every single time. Like not only do they not overdo the establishing shots of CGI, but they nail the close-up shots, and they nail the dialogue, which is like the most essential part in storytelling. And yet people still don't resonate with it because, well, I mean, I will say it's now the majority of people that resonate with it, but the few people that are the few communities that don't love it, really need to rethink what they value and actually take a chance to look at this. I will say, if you hate it, it's okay. I understand. It's all good. It's not for everyone. Art is subjective, but I think this is something that Star Wars needs in order for you to get the really cool things that you actually all want that you don't see here, right? If this succeeds, if this style of storytelling succeeds, they'll keep this as a standard for all the main character things, the Old Republic things. They'll actually realize, hey, writing is important just as much as name, right? Name recognition, and that's like the most important thing.
I effing hope so. And I don't I acknowledge, there's I agree with what you're saying. I feel like this show set a new standard, and I'm almost like I'm scared for like how I'm gonna feel about Mando season 3, which I was previously like so effing excited for, and now I'm like, is anything even gonna live up to this? Because it has truly just like broken out of the formula of what we currently know as live action Disney Plus Star Wars, which wasn't previously bad by any means, in my opinion. Like I have been enjoying the content, but this was just like feature film production quality that we haven't like seen from the other shows yet. And they like the showrunners themselves like said like we took a risk knowing that this was going to be a different direction, a different tone. And I agree with your point, Alex. Like I hope it stays at this level, but I don't mind them trying I think Dave Filoni said like Ahsoka's gonna be like a samurai like tone, which would be sick. Like, I hope this has become a precedent, but I hope they keep taking risks and breaking, like what you said, like breaking down the confines of what we know as like typical Star Wars content going forward. Like, if every show has a different tone, but it's operating on this level, like that would be so sweet.
I want to I don't know if you guys saw this, but Tony Gilroy did an interview and he addressed the sect of people who are saying it's boring. I want to read his
Please do.
yeah,
let's talk about it.
Let me pull it up. Okay.
And yes, X-Wing, it probably didn't make enough splash, but if they do take a gamble and go season 2, which I know they will, this is where it's all going to turn around for them.
Okay,
unless something drastically happens. But anyway.
That's Tony Gilroy said that's some old shit, man. Everything, all this shit is new, which is just really fascinating to be at the frontier of this new kind of storytelling, this new kind of scale. I heard that comment along the way, even when we brought the episodes into Lucasfilm and Disney. I don't want to piss this guy off, obviously, but I wonder if he feels the same way now, because do you really think that you will be able to appreciate what happened in episodes 8, 9, and 10 as much without knowing what happened back in episodes 1, 2, and 3? You're absolutely enriched by it. It's like you go watch a car commercial and they pull out a flag and a puppy in a truck and you go, oh, wow, the music's right. And you really feel something for a moment, but you walk away and you never think about it again. It's this empty calorie thing. If you really want to feel something, if you really want to have something that lives with you, the requirement for that is that you really care. You need that investment that you make in the early episodes. I don't think I was like poking around. It's pretty exciting. I think it's ripping. It's a ripping yarn. It's an adventure story all the way through, but knowing Cassian is that kid who beat the shit out of that console in a flashback as a child after they killed his friend, and knowing that rage is in him, it's really important. The idea that you have to wrap up every episode in a bow, and the old traditional thing was, oh, your first episode has to be your 7th episode. I've heard all this shit my whole life. But as I said, I'm a disruptor. I'm going this way. There's times where you really want to package things. There's times where there are episodes that have better breaks and better drops than others. But I'm happy with the ones we have. I'm not unhappy at all with the time we spent with all of our characters. And I agree with him completely.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say it, I wouldn't say it any differently. And you know, it's coming from the writer himself, right? Like, he's a well-spoken guy. He's a smart person. He's not just some random showrunner who decided to become a writer, right? Like, he's always been a writer, and it shows, right, in the show. Whether it's has the Star Wars name on it or not, he knows how to write, and that's the most important part. Because when you watch Rogue One, you totally get the vibe of everything that's happening in the show. Like there's a consistency there, right? And that's something that I guess Star Wars has lacked, is like a consistent kind of not only writing style, but just like, well, after Lucas is just like a direction, right? And I think this is where like they really look at it and they like, okay, well, not only is Tony not like a massive fan, but he's a massive fan of the art of storytelling, right? And I think when we really think about it, would we rather have someone who's a passionate fan who doesn't really know how to write characters and just knows how to do the bang bangs and the flashes, or should we look at someone who, you know, is passionate about storytelling and having us be invested in characters that we didn't think we would like, right? Like, this is like the same situation we had with Rogue One. After Force Awakens, I was like, I'm not really interested in Rogue One, right? Like, I don't think I'm really gonna like it. And then it ended up, now looking back, it's like my favorite thing that Disney has created, right? And it's like, this is just a build off up to that. And it's like, why is it that characters that were reinvented that we didn't like before are now all, oh, it's because of the writing, it's because of the storytelling, it's because of the investment, it's because of the build up, it's because of the costumes, it's because of the cinematography, it's because of the editing. Like, there's a lot that goes into these that people are just like, you know, subconsciously not aware of. And we need all of these things to make a good story. And I think storytelling comes first in Star Wars, not lightsabers, right? Not the Force. All of that should come with good storytelling, because otherwise you're just going to ruin characters like what they did with Kenobi.
Yeah, ooh, that's your opinion now? They ruined character? I don't think I've heard you vocalize that yet.
Well, I just mean like they ruined the potential of what it could have been.
Oh, right? Okay.
Like,
yes.
I still liked aspects of that show, sure, you know, and if you loved it, you know, more power to you. That's amazing. I'm happy you loved it. But when you see a lot of disconnects in like what you know as Star Wars and what you feel like you saw before, like if you go from Revenge of the Sith to Kenobi, there's a massive disconnect. Like there's a massive difference in what it looks like, how it feels like, how it's edited, the music, everything. And I don't think they should have done that, right? And then you go into Andor, you hear music that you've never really heard before, but you still feel something, right? And it's because of the buildup of the storytelling and everything that plays a part in this role. It's not random. It's not thrown in there. It's not namesake. It's not anything else that doesn't matter. It's like the in the essence, it's character driven, right? And
Mhm.
that's just what we need in Star Wars.
I don't mourn for Kenobi. I mourn for what Kenobi could have been.
Mm. In hindsight, yeah, my expectations for Kenobi were that it was going to be the level that Andor delivered. And at first, before we got Andor, I was like, dang, this kind of stinks for, the new showrunners. Like Andor, they're following in Kenobi's shadow. Like that's kind of harsh the way they scheduled this because, people already weren't super keen on an Andor series when
Yeah.
Kenobi was in the spotlight. So originally, before the show came out and blew us out of the water, I was like, that's unfortunate. Like it has to follow in this shadow, but if anything, it's like, holy crap, no. It freaking like bravo to them, and it showed like what Star Wars can be. No, I'm struggling because yes, I feel like now that Andor has proven it can be done, I don't think it's wrong now for us fans to expect like that's the quality. That's how amazing Star Wars can be. Like let's keep going with that. But at the same time, I'm trying hard not to pit it against Kenobi so much because they're just different sides of they're two completely different things. That's how I have to just like separate them in my mind. But I think going forward, like we should expect this quality, but I don't know.
I want to kind of follow that thread because Alex was talking about Rogue One earlier, and obviously Tony Gilroy worked on Rogue One. I think it's fair to say with Rogue One that about 80-90% of Star Wars fans like Rogue One. It doesn't matter if you hated the sequels or if you love the sequels. I think Rogue One is like this spot that everybody can like meet on and like be like, yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And what I think is interesting about that is that I think Rogue One, it has Tony Gilroy's like writing style in there, but it also has the typical Star Wars stuff that everybody who doesn't like Andor likes. Like it's got your Death Star, it has Tarkin, it has Darth Vader killing rebels. It has like everything that we could want from Star Wars, and I think that's probably why it's so well liked universally.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I kind of am lumping them two together, but really they are two separate entities with the same name, right? And it's really it's a case study right now for Star Wars, right? Like you have to see the actual films, and then you have to see the shows, and then you have to see the streaming content. And you can make the argument, hey, look, streaming is still experimental. Streaming is still figuring out what to do, where to allocate budget, whether quality or quantity is the right move, right? Right now, HBO is winning that. We still have Star Wars, and we still have Disney, we still have Netflix. All of them have to kind of, I guess, figure that out. But eventually, we're going to get really high quality shows on a HBO budget all the time, right? It's just what it's going to be because everyone's going to realize, oh shit, these shows do really well. Maybe we spend the extra money, we make more money, right? That's the end result. It doesn't really matter about quantity and having like a bunch of different options because no one's going to watch any of them if they're all subpar, right? And rewatchability is the most important thing here. And Rogue One's one of the only things that I'm rewatching all the time, right? It's beautiful in every way, and Zach hits it on the head. It has everything that we all want, and I think if they follow that formula, or I mean, I almost want to go against using the word formula because then it's going to kind of draw us into a corner. It just like, you know what I mean? Like, I hate being in that situation where it's like I don't know what to say about it. It's just like they're doing it right. They did it right here. They did it right there. Let's figure out the in between and how to come together, right? And I wanted to bring up Barb's point. Move away from the volume. Like this is kind of an example of when to use it and when not to use it. And Kenobi is a case study for when not to use it. And then Mando's a case study for when to use it.
It's incredible. It's incredible in Mando to the point where you guys remember the first episode? It was the episode when Boba returns and they actually like shot on location somewhere. And we were all like, this almost doesn't look real compared to what we see in the volume. Like the volume almost transcends reality in Mandalorian. I don't understand what happened. I don't know. I'm trying. I can't dwell on it, or else I just have so many questions that I know won't get answered. So it's like I can't even dissect it too much. But yeah, there has to be a sweet spot. Like, but was the
Do you
volume
think
even in Andor? Was there a single shot where they had the volume? I
if
don't
they
think
did use
so.
it, they did it great because they shot on location, right?
Yeah.
You know, like there's a couple of videos out there where someone's like, "Hey, I feel like I've been there before," when they saw a location, and they show like the exact location in like England or in Scotland or whatever it was that they filmed it, and they showed like, "Hey, this looks similar to this. I don't know if it is this location, but it must have been inspired by true like locations," right? And that's like the most important part about the immersion, right? But I think that yeah, I wanted to ask you guys with X-Wing's comment here. If they followed if they made it 40, not only 45-minute episodes that Andor had, if they followed that formula with Kenobi and they were all 45 minutes and it was, I guess, I don't know if it would have to be 12 episodes, but let's just say it is 12 episodes, and they had the shot on location, they had the writing, they had um like I guess the set design, the costumes, the props, and like the cinematography that Andor had. Do you think it would work, or do you feel like there's a different approach to Kenobi to make it better?
I think there were a lot of story things with Kenobi
Yeah.
that were an issue that I think even if you gussied it up, there was a lot of the central plot. I mean, maybe if you expanded it, if it was 12 episodes, that could have been different. That could have changed things. I feel like Kenobi could have used a little more room to breathe personally. Um Not in a
Sort of
bad
its
way, but
biggest
just in
faults,
like
right?
I wanted more. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't know, maybe, but like it feeds into the earlier point. A lot of it comes down to writing. And that's not necessarily my qualms, but I know throughout the fandom there were consistently like plot canon issues that people raised throughout Kenobi.
No, Kat is 100% right. There are issues with Kenobi in terms of set design and in terms of the way things look. But the biggest issue, the reason the show doesn't feel anywhere near Andor is not because it doesn't look as good. It's because the writing is so inferior, it's not even funny. Like it's so rushed, like 6 episodes, and every episode was like 20 to 40 minutes, and most of them closer to 20. That's like you can't do that. And then Obi-Wan Kenobi, as X-Wing kind of alludes to, it's like he's supposed to be in this super dark place. There's a lot supposed to be going on in his head. His faith is supposed to be really shaken, and we got some of that. But when you think back on it, does it really feel like he organically should have gotten out of that place? Like I think there's a scene in there where he's trapped under the rubble and he hears like it just felt to me that like he didn't organically believe again in the Force. Like it felt like he got there because the plot said he had to get there. There was nothing that like justified his turn to like I'm a Jedi again to me in the way that like Cal
yeah,
Kestis does in Fallen Order. It just eh, they just kind of were like, well, he likes Leia and he wants to protect Leia, so now he believes in the Force again. When like if you're gonna do that, it should have been with Luke. Like there was no connection really between Kenobi and Luke in that show. I just feel like they completely misfired. Well, not completely. There are some good things about it, but like largely they misfired, and it's the writing is the biggest culprit.
yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of it isn't earned, right? And you only have a short time to like get through everything, and he goes way too many places way too quick, right?
Yeah,
Everything happens way too fast, and it just comes with, I don't know, with the way media is now and the way we're consuming media. I don't know if that was their approach to just make everything really fast, but I mean, Obi-Wan looked great when he was like slaving away cutting meat from a whale and
yeah,
and
dude.
stealing it to try to eat. He looked amazing, and you see like all of these you see everyone that's at the camp, you know, they look like they've been warned, they look like they've really gone through the grittiness. You see like like I said, the sensory details, I'll say that again. You see it with the drink that that Nemec is pouring in Andor's cup to drink, and you can feel like you know, you feel like you're there. There's a lot of different things that he goes through, and all you see in Kenobi is Master, you know, and you see him looking great in like a relatively beautiful cave,
I
right?
didn't
And it's
even
like
know what you were referencing for a second. I was like, what scene is that?
because he says master when he's like asking, you know,
Yeah.
where are you, Qui-Gon, you know, and there's times where he's like, no, I can't help you, I'm not the Jedi you remember. But it's like, but I haven't seen that yet. You still look great. Can you help me understand, everything? Like, I know it's been a long time, but if anything, you just maybe look slightly skinnier. You don't have a haircut, right? It just was, there was a massive disconnect in the feel. Like, him as an actor, he's still amazing, right? And he's the only reason why I like kept watching him and Hayden. But like, he went from there. He went from Inquisitorius. He escaped Inquisitorius. He did all this stuff really quick, and it felt very Saturday morning cartoonish, right? It didn't feel like a fleshed out, like, high budget HBO series, like the way Andor feels. So like, to close out Zach's point, yeah, 100%, right? Like, it's lackluster in so many avenues, but it has its good points. And if the good points that we had were with a much higher budget and attention to detail, they probably would have been even better than what we're settling for, right? Like, imagine Anakin and Obi-Wan. Like, I'm working. I hold on. I gotta highlight his comment. He worked on Andor. This guy right here. He did the VFX for the ice scene, right? He did all the TIE fighter special effects, all those
Pixel?
visual effects. Yeah, he did all of that.
No
He
It was
he's
sexy as hell.
We're in the
and it
presence of
looked
royalty right now.
incredible. It looked so good. And that's just
Bravo!
a tiny inkling of the
Thank you for your
potential
service.
that VFX people can do. And one of the biggest problems in Hollywood, at least from what I've seen, and what I've talked to him about, is that they just aren't given adamant amount enough time, and the showrunners just don't really give a shit. They just need to get it out when they say they need to get it out. They're not given creative freedom. They're not given enough time, right? And that was one of the big things with Marvel, right? Marvel has that issue too. So I just think, like, when it comes down to it, they need to realize what's really important and what really matters. And Andor is a case study for all of that. So, case in point.
And scene.
And
Literally,
scene.
oh my
And
gosh.
scene.
Shout out to Pixel. That's so freaking cool.
Yeah, thumbs up in the chat, everybody, for Pixel.
Yeah.
The eye episode had some of the most beautiful visual effects I've ever seen. I'm not even kidding. Like, I was mesmerized at that. Like, when they're flying through it, and then when everybody's just like watching in awe. It was so good. Like, man,
Dude, the guy's incredible.
Okay, good chat.
Oh, chef's kiss. But yeah, I like when the volume is used when I can't tell. Like, throughout all of Andor, I wasn't even trying to look for it because I was like, there's no way. There's no effing way. And even if they did use it, I
Yeah.
can't see it with my with my naked eye. And like, I didn't even know House of the Dragon, like that final interaction, Aemond versus Lucerys, and they're on their dragons. They did that in the volume, but there was never a time where I was like,
Yeah,
"Play the
you
volume."
still felt like you were there. And
Yeah. Oh, blush
Aw.
away. You deserve it.
dude, he's like the nicest guy too, man. Like,
You're like
you'll
royalty
see
here.
you'll see with the new VFX shots that he did for Kenobi, like, what it could have been, right?
Do you
It's absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna release a trailer on the channel, so we'll just kind of get like a
shnikes.
little sneak peek on it, on his edit that he's gonna kind of put together. But the guy is talented, man, and he really dedicates his time to the art. And not only that, but he works overtime to produce content for everyone. So go subscribe to him for sure. He deserves it more than anyone. But what were we talking about? I made a little sidebar.
No, literally just that.
The volume.
The volume is great.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
the
not trying to
volume and-
shiz on it. It's
yeah.
great if I can't tell, if I'm not conscious of
It's
it.
great when used the right way, right? And when there's like shadows, when there's things blocking it. But like, when it's literally used just to be a background, right? It's not used like strategically. That's when it gets there's a problem.
Yeah, I would say Mando uses it like it like toes the line on too much with the volume, and then Kenobi just like took 5 steps over that line and used it just way too much.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Like, I think even Mando could stand to use it less.
We'll see. I'm curious to see, because we're going to whole new places next season. We're going back to Mandalore. I'm very, very curious.
and it looks great too, dude. Everything in that trailer looked great.
I know.
So,
This is the tough part. Like, as older fans, I'm curious to hear. I really want to hear from Father Son Galaxy. You guys might know them. They're a podcast. Keith and Kerwin, it's a dad and a son duo, and Keith is only in like elementary school, I think. And I want to hear his thoughts, like younger fans, how they felt about Andor. But like, this is tough because as an older fan, I appreciated that it was darker, it touched on more adult topics, gritty. It touched on some things that I was just like, how the F did they get this like approved? Like, really almost topics that you would maybe need a trigger warning for. Like, it went places that Star Wars hasn't gone, but it's all real high stakes emotional things for us adult fans who are like, yeah, that's real life. I feel spoiled because I want Star Wars to be in that kind of gritty, darker, more mature place, but is that going to be consistent? Like, I don't think so, but
I'll be honest, if I was a kid, I don't know that I would have liked Andor that much. Just like when I was a kid, like I was like, oh, Anakin versus Obi-Wan, it's so cool, like in a volcano planet. Like as a kid, you gravitate towards the action. But as an adult, like I want the storytelling, man. I want the good writing. I want to feel things.
I want to feel things. I want to have music.
I want to be emotionally destroyed.
I want to cry. What is it? What's the word for a loving pain? Sadists, or what is it?
Oh, oh God.
Is it masochist? Yeah, we're masochists for not only killing kids in a Jedi temple, but for for feeling emotional pain when watching Star Wars. It's like
I want my emotions to look like Anakin burning on Mustafar. Like
oh my God.
Burn me, fire. It's like a what's that? Beavis and Butthead reference. Fire? No one. I only know that because that was like Amanda's favorite thing was when Beavis kept saying fire, and he was obsessed with fire, and he kept like setting things on fire and blowing shit up.
We've all been there.
We've all been there at some point, you know, whether it's burning bugs or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I want pain, but I liked
Pain Olympics, yes.
that it was gritty and real, and yeah, that I would definitely like that tone. Like, I hope that we get notes of that in like Mando season 3, especially. I hope we get that in the Acolyte. I'm freaking stoked for the Acolyte. I hope it's also super like gritty and darker, but I guess I have to accept as an older fan that maybe not all content is going to be made to tailor to the older generations.
Yeah, let's just hope once they start adding a bunch of lightsabers in play, they don't repeat the Kenobi look, they repeat the Andor look.
You guys don't understand, dude. That stormtrooper had Beskar armor. That one stormtrooper.
They just didn't explain it, but in the behind the scenes, you see him fitting Mando armor underneath his stormtrooper armor. So jokes on you guys. Y'all are all idiots for
that was Din. Yeah, that guy was Din.
That was Din Djarin.
They had to fit the Mando cameo in there somehow.
He defected after he got hit by Kenobi. That's what made him want to.
It's like, I'm not doing this shit anymore.
Yeah, he's like, fuck this. I'm gonna go get Grogu and be a dad.
This is the way.
When he said it's Grogan time, I cried. Yeah.
Oh, I actually finally just watched that movie for the first time.
Oh, Morbius.
Sorry, I have not.
It's so bad. It's awful. Like, Amanda loves Jared Leto and she loves Matt Smith. Like, she absolutely loves them and will never say anything bad about them. And we got out of the theater and then like I just like was quiet and she just is slowly walking out. She's just like, dude, that movie fucking sucked.
Did Jared Leto like start a sex cult or something?
I don't fucking know, dude. The guy's crazy. That's all that matters though, because you do need crazy people to be actors at the end of the day.
Crazy. I think he was on some sort of like retreat or something when the pandemic happened. He was like out somewhere on an island, like with I guess a group of people. And then like no phones off the grid, I think, and he came back and was like, "What the F is going on?" I don't know. I didn't think it was
pictures of him appearing to have started a cult. So
this is all alleged.
He's
legal
like
purposes.
Dressed as Jesus, sitting in front of people. I don't know,
man. I think that's just his style. I think he just wears lots of robes sometimes.
It's pretty culty to me.
Oh god.
I'm no expert, of course, but
Is there gonna be a Morbius 2? I actually would be curious to see a sequel. I'm not gonna
Oh
lie.
God.
I
I
kinda
mean,
want one.
you really are a masochist, aren't you?
I'm not
Jesus.
I didn't I mean, going into it with maybe people I don't know. I assumed that it was gonna be the worst thing I've ever seen, and it wasn't. Like, going into it, I wanna get on your
Mm.
guys' level of comprehension because I feel like you guys actually are able you have a more sophisticated lens when you watch things, and you can see, like, when things are actually, like, good
I
or
mean, you do
bad.
too. Don't
No,
Yeah,
but, like,
come
I
on.
watch
don't shit on
anything and I'm
yourself.
like, I
No,
like
you
it.
no. You're just no. What you do is you kind of put up like a. I mean, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. And you're the nice person, but you know in your heart that it's fucking awful. You know, you already know.
Oh god.
But like what's his face said it himself. Why am I forget? Why am I blanking on him? The ce- uh the celebrity who has his radio show and he talked about you and your reaction.
Howard Stern? Oh
Yeah,
god.
Cat's
yeah.
best friend.
Yeah, you guys are besties. It's
My number one
hilarious.
subscriber.
Uh,
God.
you should just go on his show one day. She's like, "Hey, remember that one time when you talked shit about me? Let me just go on and we can like really,
They
really."
actually called my mom back, the producers, and they said if you get in touch with your daughter, tell her to like call into the show. And I
Oh, call
decided
in.
not to. I was like, I don't
No, you need to go on so then
I
you
don't
can
have
just
the
make them all
cojones
look
for that.
really bad.
He would just bully the hell out of Cat. Like it wouldn't
It would
be,
be
it
it
wouldn't
would
be right.
it would be like dark
Uh,
humor, but it would also be like weirdly personal, and then it would be like, okay, actually, that's okay. That's where you just leave, right?
yeah, I was like, I
Yeah.
think I'm better off without this. I don't think
You
I
should
can stand my ground.
you should tell him to stop trying to look like Slash from Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Like that.
Like, hey, so you know that perm that you have on your head? Yeah, that's not natural. You spend way too much money on
No one's
it.
buying that, dude.
No one's. You're not 20. Like, get out of here. Anyway, on another note, yes, Fulcrum 28. This is an amazing, amazing statement. Imagine if Tony Gilroy was
Oh.
the one handling Thrawn. Just imagine Thrawn getting the Andor writing. Fuck yes, dude. Like
Sign me up.
if we got like a low end officer with amazing writing in I always forget his name, but he was Kyburn, right? And like his dialogue is like I felt like he was like, you know, right there with Tarkin, just based off of the way he was not only confident, but the
awesome.
way he delivered his lines, right? And the writing was impeccable. And we just need that for Thrawn. If Thrawn is anything but incredible and amazing in every way, there's going to be backlash, right? Because he's one of those characters that needs to be up there with Tarkin, up there with the Emperor, up there with Vader. And if he's not, there's going to be a massive, massive feud and
Thrawn's
riot.
getting that Dave Filoni treatment, right? Because he's in Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're assuming he is, and he should be. But like I said,
To
Yeah.
defeat an enemy, you must know them. Like Thrawn is, I love his voice. That's why I want the same actor to play him because his voice is perfect.
yeah,
It's so good.
yeah.
With like
Well,
the Swedish accent.
you guys all know Amanda's big on voices, and she could care less what the character's intentions are, as long as he has like a sexy voice. That's her thing.
Oh god.
Luckily, all of them are great characters. You know, you got Maul, Thrawn, Vader, all of them, right? And they're all
Yeah.
great. And a raspy, deep, dark, you know, meaningful voice follows good dialogue most of the time.
Wait, that reminds me. Did we ever talk about James Earl Jones turning over his voice to
That's
Lucasfilm?
I
I don't
think
think we
we
ever
did.
did.
I think
I
you
don't
and
think we-
I think we did. Oh, maybe we did it behind the scenes. Maybe
I think we
didn't
did
actually
it
address
behind the
it.
scenes.
Yeah.
That's a big move.
Yeah, I want to say like publicly. I mean, I know that like not a bunch of people watch this, but like, and James Earl Jones will never see it, but Darth
say that.
Vader is like my favorite character of all time, and James Earl Jones is about 70% of the reason for that. Like his voice is incredible. He did a masterful job in all of his years working on Star Wars. So thank you, James Earl Jones. Godspeed. Thank you so much. It just like it made my not even my just my childhood, but like adulthood too. Just being able to listen to him play Vader, and I was so happy that he came back for Rogue One and for Rebels, and and for Kenobi too. Like it was awesome. So thank you, James Earl Jones.
Yeah.
love
So
you.
wait, did he? I forget. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did he officially retire? But he's allowing the rights to his. So
Yes.
he's not going to be doing any more projects, but they can still access his.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
can use computer magic. Yeah.
Good for him. Freaking legend.
Yeah, he's an old guy, man. We should just get him on the podcast next week. Why not?
Yeah. He's like 90 something, dude.
Yeah. Be like, hey Jimmy, you wanna pop on? He's like, oh yeah, for sure. And we'll do that next week.
I would probably cry if like James Earl Jones popped on. I would cry.
Yeah, that would be a big moment. That'd probably be the biggest moment I think of any of us, right? To be able to
Yeah.
talk to
In
him.
my life, yeah.
Dude, like if he's one of the few celebrities that I feel like if I saw him, I would be starstruck. Like I'd be like, oh my god, that's James fucking Earl Jones. Like
I need to figure out if I know anyone that can somehow get me his email, right? I'm gonna like actually ask around. That'd be really cool.
If you're
'Cause
that famous, he
doesn't-
probably has like a publicist or like a representative that.
yeah, but we need to
handles
get
that.
through to him. Not
does Disney
publicist.
allow their I mean, I guess since he's not affiliated with them anymore, do they allow their actors to like jump on fan podcasts?
I think so, because like Emily
Well, it's a public
Swallow
forum. Like
went
they
on
can
theories.
they can talk. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, they're not restricted from talking. They signed an NDA for what the project is. Like they're not signing an NDA from their character, right? And that's why they do cameo. That's why they're allowed to do cameo,
Right.
So, I mean, I would love to have more guests on this show. It's just a matter on actually getting through to any of them, right? So
Yeah.
now look at him, a
hardest
damn
part.
legend. That's I didn't know that. That's actually really cool. That almost draws parallels to like the greatest people in the world are the ones that have gone through shit to become what they are. Right?
Oh yeah.
No one's handed anything in this life. It takes a lot of work to get to where you
This
are.
took a really deep turn.
We've got it all on the Evil Ewok podcast.
Yeah. Now we're in the
One-stop
therapy
shop.
session.
Yeah.
Of last 10 minutes. Ask us anything about your personal
Oh
life,
my
and we
God.
will
We
tell you
should
from personal
do that.
experience.
We should totally have like a we give the most unwarranted advice. Although as like drop
You
your
should
questions.
get a
Yeah.
divorce.
That would be so funny if we just did a Q&A segment. It's like, give us your questions. We'll give you our stupid advice.
Screw it, chat. If you have any personal issues that you want to talk through, put it in the chat. We'll
Death
tell you
Star
what we
talk.
think.
Welcome to Death Star Talk, where we talk about death.
Oh
No,
my
just kidding.
God.
We talk about personal issues that are going on throughout your life. Starting with Sal. Yeah, he wants to. Should I
Someone in my
Alex.
Discord knows how to contact stars.
fire?
Oh my God.
I
Wait,
think
gotta-
you should take this one, Alex. What do you think?
Should I file taxes quarterly or annually? Well, if you are a non-employee, obviously annually, because you can have a lot of time for write-offs, right? But if you're an active employee, actually you should do annually for that too, because then you can get your tax returns. But I mean, if you're someone who is super hypersensitive over your taxes, then quarterly is the way to go, because you don't have to worry about a surprise lump sum coming in that you have to pay. That happened to me with capital gains and cryptocurrency. So do not do that, because if you don't have the money to pay the government, you're fucked. Okay. On that note,
This video is sponsored by TurboTax.
sponsored by FTX, the cryptocurrency exchange
God.
that just fucking destroyed everyone's livelihoods, and a lot of finance YouTubers were promoting them. So yeah, sign up today.
Aren't like people getting sued over that? Like people
not
know it?
yet, but I know that they will eventually. It's a long
Oof.
process in the law
Oof.
to really make a case for that, right? And since the internet and YouTubers are still relatively new in comparison to the law, it's yet to see sponsored by the IRS.
We do not condone this. Oh God.
Tax evasion is the way to go. I'm not going to pay my taxes, and when I'm caught, I'm going to go live in Mexico.
Well, don't tell them that.
I probably shouldn't have repeated that, because now I just fucked you, Aiden. Sorry.
Yeah. Spider season. Oh gosh.
That's a thing in Australia. They have spider season.
I mean, honestly, down here in October, we always had like a million big orb weavers everywhere. So as far as I'm concerned, October is spider season in
Orb
San
weaver?
Diego. Yeah, like
What?
massive, like those massive like those massive orange spiders. You don't know what I'm talking about? You don't get those in LA?
Oh, I hope not.
They're like really big. Like they're probably the biggest spider you'll see here,
Did
aside
I
from
hear
like a
that
tarantula.
G-lob.
correctly? Orb weaver?
Yeah, look up the orange orb weaver. It has like a cross on its
Oh,
abdomen.
I've seen
Whoa!
these. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen these before.
Ah! Ew. I can't look at that. I just sent a shudder down.
Cat reacts to spiders.
You don't want to look at it, Kat?
That's a weird. Oh, sweet Jesus.
That's an orb weaver.
There's like a different subset that's over here all the time. That's like orange and like it has a bigger butt. And like, dude, some of them get really big. Like not quite tarantula big, but they're pretty big and they're gross.
We really do have it all on this podcast.
Final
Yeah, here we go.
You're
We camp
wrong.
at the beach on a lake here called the Spider Beach, and they're all orange orb weavers. And yeah, they got a butt like a grape. Dude, they're fucking big, dude.
They got that Pixar mom butt.
They're
Yeah.
dumb thick.
I just like started watching a lot of those. I saw parts of what's the Mexican one?
The Good Dinosaur.
Coco? Or
Coco. Yeah,
Encanto?
Coco. No, not Encanto.
Coco.
Coco. And like not only that one, but then all the other ones, I was like kind of because I'm so disconnected from all that, and Amanda's all about it. And I was
Oh my
watching,
God,
I'm like,
they're
dude,
amazing.
why are all the women so hot in all of them? Like I was like so confused by
No,
that.
it's
I didn't know.
thing.
I don't know if it was a personal problem or that's just what they do.
I am
Right?
Nah.
attracted to animated characters only.
Yeah, I was like trying
Only
to
out
figure
of
it
the
out.
Pixar studio. No, literally, they must have a requirement in order to be a mother within the Pixar universe. The silhouette of your body has to go like this. Like
Hourglass, baby.
You must have an
Yeah.
hourglass baby, and you must have like a beautiful, like symmetrical face and nice chin and jawline. It's like it's an art form, and I will say that. Like that's like what you see in real life, right? The way they
Oh my
construct them.
god.
So what happened?
Alice, what the hell? She said Google a huntsman nest, and I did. That's nuts. Here.
Oh God.
I'm like speechless.
Ah!
Oh my god, I thought that was a crotch for a second. I was like, dude, Zach.
Zach gets us all banned from YouTube.
Oh my God.
Where is
What
that?
in the world?
And where do they exist? Only in Australia,
I'm
please?
assuming aren't they all like highly venomous, Alice?
Oh my god, dude, take it away. It's like my biggest thing.
Ah!
Remove it.
Stop.
No.
I told you this would happen. The spiders are taking over.
I was trying to remember the nomenclature, but yes, Mommy Milkers and Thumper Dumper is
Jesus
Pixar's MO. Yes, 100%.
God. They live in. I would not survive a day. Every stream, I feel like we learn something new that's horrific about the conditions of living in Australia. It's just like literal National Geographic down there, and y'all are fighting for your lives.
Alice, you should send
Oh.
the kangaroos to deal with them.
Dommy mommy.
Let them fight.
How did we get here?
How the hell did we get here? So okay, anyway, so let's close out. Let's go back. What would you give in retrospect out of 10? What would you give on the evil Ewok scale? What would you give Andor?
I would give Andor 8.9
6.9.
huntsman spiders out of 10
Oh,
huntsman
God.
spiders.
Cat?
I'm gonna go with 9.5 huntsman spiders.
Damn.
I'm usually the generous one here.
I'm gonna
Sounds
give it a 9.
close.
I'm gonna give it a
9?
9 just because before it was like an 8, right? And it was just based off of just watching it, you know, and waiting every week for something to happen, right? And for the next step and for whatever. Pixar mom dump truck. I'm a dump truck. Yeah. 9 out of 10 mommy milkers.
Oh, what have we
9.7
done?
Stanley Nichols.
Colin.
Oh no,
Colin, you're coming in at the end again.
I
At least
hate
you're
when
not
that
Alice.
happens.
Alice has been here the whole time.
No.
But
I mean, usually Alice comes in at the beginning. She's like, can't stay for long, leaves, and comes back at the very end. And I'm just like,
I know.
Alice, we couldn't react to your comment thread. That's always very entertaining,
I
right?
know.
X Ring's gonna give it 8 mommy milkers and a slow golf clap. Respect. Okay.
Respect.
Yeah, I'm actually curious what the chat thinks. I give it a 9 because I watched it over again and I like really had a big appreciation for how much effort actually went into it. Like you really can tell how much effort went into the show when you rewatch
Yeah.
it.
I've got to
Did
say,
you-
like, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want to ask him, did you enjoy it more watching it all in one go? Was it
Yeah.
like way better?
Yeah, it was way better. Well, I watched 4 episodes in the morning and then I watched the rest of the 6. Well, this is when I was demonetized. So I'm like, what else am I gonna do? So I watched 4 in the morning and
The
then
dark times.
I went to go work out. I came back and I watched the rest of them, right? And it was it was in that moment where I got to watch all of it in a row, which is what I do with all Netflix shows, right? When I like them, where I really got to really dive deep into not only the characters but the appreciation for the show because you see everything, right? You see all the character development, you see all the payoffs, you see all the, like I said, the deep sensory details. You notice the little things when you watch it all in one go because at the end of the day you're just watching one episode and you're like, fuck, what's next? Like for a week, and then you don't critically think enough. But when you see it all in one go, you get to really, you have a new appreciation and a new opinion for it, which is why I think the prequels are now loved because people went back and rewatched them, right? And this is like a 10-year, 20-year process of everyone going back and rewatching it and appreciating the little things. And now this is what I'm doing with Andor, right? And that's just kind of my opinion. Holy shit, I almost just like totally knocked over all of my stuff. That would have been really bad.
And
I
on
would've-
that note,
I would have given it a 9 out of 10, but like Cyril's mom made me
Mommy
uncomfortable.
milkers.
Like she no, Jesus. She just like her dialogue and like the way she speaks. It's
Hashtag
like,
Zach likes Cyril's mom.
no wonder
in the-
Cyril turned out to be a little freak. Like
Oh
she's just
my
like that lady's nuts.
Yeah.
Where's the return on my investment? It's going-
Yeah, a lot of what she was, it's like, dude, we haven't really seen enough of her, and I'm just like, wow, dude, she's just a bitch for no reason, and we have no idea why, right? So
and she monologues like no other.
yeah, yeah, I'm just like, can we just avoid all of this? This is okay. That was the only gripe I think I had with Andor was Cyril. Like, I think without Cyril, the show would have been better. I didn't really add anything.
Oh,
I think the first 3 episodes with Cyril were great, but then after that, he had no purpose, and I feel like he shouldn't have been there.
But I think he's gonna come back with a creepy vengeance in season 2.
The creepiness is what gets me, right? Like there's room, like there's like the Nightcrawler, like with Jake Gyllenhaal, and then there's you, and those are all done well. Like this one is just
That's what I thought you meant at first.
no, Joe from You, right? Like
The
it was
Netflix
like
first.
a lot of people might not like that show, but I loved that show, and I loved Nightcrawler, and like those are good examples of that kind of character. This one just feels weird, like he's trying to be something he isn't, right? That's the vibe I get. Like he isn't necessarily this person, but he feels like this is all he can do and all he has to do. Whereas like Jake and Joe feel like they are those characters, and you're like, holy shit, dude! Like I'm scared, right? Or like you're allured because of how well they portray those characters. So Dwight and Angela. Yeah.
Except I don't think Dwight is anywhere near as malicious. Underneath Cyril, there's something really terrifying going on. Syrup.
Syrup is the Jeffrey Dahmer of Star Wars. Yeah, I think maybe that's what makes me uncomfortable because we live in like a world where there's just so many like not only black pill incel people, but just like weird simps, right? And like that's just like the vibe I'm getting from. Yeah, Kat, there's someone outside your door. Be careful. Be careful. They're coming.
Did you hear that?
Yeah,
it's
they're
a
coming for you.
huntsman spider.
They're coming for you.
Drums in the deep. They are coming.
Oh, sweet Lord.
They have a cave troll.
You must pay the toll, troll. You haven't, dude. You need to watch Always Sunny. Fuck, it's like the best thing. Cyril is actually The Rock.
What?
Where-
They
Is that-
recast Cyril as Dwayne The Rock Johnson in season 2.
And he just plays himself. But like we're just like, wait, was he in the first season? We're just
I
scratching
got
our head.
this body by eating all that cereal, y'all.
Yeah. Cat use axe oil. Yeah.
Axe
Truly,
oil has become like our thing. Like we started that.
Yeah.
we need Axe Oil merch. I'm
I
serious.
know.
No one will know what we're. I'm gonna walk out in public and people are gonna be like, "Huh?" But it's
Speaking of
fine.
merch, we have merch, guys. Check it out if you want to. It'll be in the drop down menu, obviously. But we do have
Thank
merch,
you.
and it's clean. Kat just has her
It's
crop top in the
fresh.
dryer so she can wear it.
I'll be
Word.
debuting mine
I
next
have the
week.
jacket though. It's Evil Ewok podcast here, and then we got the AD here, but then we have other just regular t-shirts, and we have all sorts of cool shit.
Where's
So,
my crop top?
I already sent it to you.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's a crop top, so it's like even shorter than a normal
It's just
crop
like
top.
right
Comes up
here.
to your car.
It's like
It's like a pauldron.
it's like a collar.
Yeah, it's like
It's a choker, dude. I got you a choker.
you add a normal t-shirt for the cool woman's crop top, please.
Normal as in
I think she means this logo that we have right here on our
Mm.
stream, but that you want.
that is that one. The crop top.
She
is
wants
that one.
like a normal shirt with that design, I think. like bigger.
Gotcha. Okay. So
Nipple
like
height.
in the top right corner or top left corner. Actually, I'll have Alice design it. Do you want it to be in the top right or the top left, or do you want it to be a normal woman's top, which is just like a logo in the center?
Just a normal woman's t-shirt.
So logo in the center or in the corner? Because usually men have their logos in the corner, and women just for their t-shirts because they're relatively smaller. It's just centered. So that'll be like the design that I'll just kind of put up there for you. It's a bit weird for early 30s women.
It's
wearing crop
not
top.
weird, Alice.
Nah.
Freaking rock it. Freaking
girl-
don't care what anybody says.
My girlfriend's 36 and she wore it. She looks great.
You look great, dude.
No problemo. And I wear my crop top every time I go out to
Yeah.
get my coffee. Like
I've
I look
never
great.
seen Alex without a crop top on in
Yeah.
person.
I actually cut the crop top to be nipple height, like Barb's basement ass, and it's great.
Oh
He-
god.
Even his sweatshirt, like that sweatshirt ends just like a bit lower than you can see, but that sweatshirt is a crop top.
Yeah.
Don't be deceived by what you see on stream.
Yeah, my skin from the neck down is just very dark. So Oh, you're gonna meet Hayden? Cool, dude.
Have fun.
Damn, that's so cool.
German Comic Con. Are you going to Celebration, Colin? You should go, dude. Go to Celebration in London. Just take the trip. Because we are, and well, I am, and I'm all the way the fuck over here in California. So take the trip there. Whoever goes there we can have like a little mini meetup. There's a couple creators I'm meeting there too. That you guys can meet also if you do go. Yeah, it'll be fun. Has eye holes for the nipples. Yeah, exactly. They're just cutouts. Like it's really just me shirtless, actually, at the end of the day.
With the logo painted on your chest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we went so many different directions here. I feel like
This is wild.
we not only talked about Andor, but we talked about, taxes, spiders.
Next week, ask us anything.
We were
Next-
very structured until the end.
Yeah.
It's all right. Last 10 minutes are always a lawless time.
Wait,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, Kat, have you watched the Willow show yet? Because I watched the movie because it had been a while since I'd seen it. So
I have not. I'm tempted to wait till it all comes out because
isn't it? Didn't all drop at once? I
It's
think
already
it all
out?
dropped at once.
Right now?
Hush, Nikes.
'Cause, like,
Okay.
I've never
I'd be
seen the
down
original.
to do
so-
like a stream about it if you guys
in that
want.
case, I'm gonna go and freaking watch that. Thank you for enlightening me.
Let me
Yes, heck
confirm.
yes. Let's do a
I
stream.
can
Let's
tell
do
you
a
right
stream.
now. It is okay. I don't. There's only 2 episodes out. My bad.
When
Oh,
does it come out? Wednesdays?
I don't know, because I saw a YouTube video where someone was like, Willow series review, and I was like, oh, it must all be out then.
that's
Oh,
weird. Or maybe it was like a preview. I don't know.
maybe.
We can. I mean, we can talk about the episode still
Yeah.
on
we
the
should.
every Thursday.
I do want to watch it because that
I-
movie is like one of my childhood go-tos. But
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I'll have to see
You
it.
should. Mad Mortigan is like the coolest.
my
I'll
childhood
take-
crush.
I'll take the
Yes.
plunge.
Sorry.
X-Wing, you're going to Celebration? No random poll. Oh yeah, do you want to
Dang.
put up some random poll?
Yeah, okay.
Will Barb's basement suffer repercussions from the IRS for tax evasion?
Oh
No,
my.
no. I got something better. What?
Also, shout out to Charlie, man. Thanks for all your support, dude. Such a nice dude.
Charlie.
Remember when we used to have 2 fulcrums in here?
Yeah.
It was
Those
the
were the
most
good old
confusing
days.
time of my life.
Those were the good days. When we had 2 of them, we knew who they were. When we don't have 2 of them, we forget which one's which.
All right, poll is live. What is more scary, spiders, taxes, or Alex's exposed nipples?
Oh my god.
I would
Cast
say
your
spiders. My nipples are beautiful. Don't
Don't
let me down, chat.
100% for Alex's exposed nipples right now.
Oh yeah, actually, I mean, on that note, Alice, yeah, have you guys seen Wednesday yet?
No.
Are
I've
you guys
never
a fan of
seen
Tim Burton?
I've never seen any Addams Family stuff in my life.
I'm
Really?
not into that vibe yet.
Oh, I love Adam's Family, dude. I love Angelica Houston as Morticia too in the old movies.
She
then-
is a queen.
Yeah, she was a great Morticia. Like it's like the dark, dry humor that I love. It's very British, and like the original show is all like that. I watched all of the original 1950s show. It's great. Like, I loved it. Definitely one of my top 5 shows, I think, or top 10 shows for sure.
Oh wow.
Of all time?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Dang.
It's fucking hilarious, dude.
I
I
learned
love that
something
kind
new.
of humor. Like she grows roses or she grows flowers only to cut the flowers, right? Because it has to be dark, right? And it's more pretty when she cuts, like instead of pruning them, she just fucking cuts them because they're dark. They're the Dark Addams Family, and it's the funniest thing.
Interesting.
And they're the kind of people like like those cartoons where they would like luckily get out of like the war situations just out of pure like uncaringness and unawareness. Like they just like unknowingly step in front of something and a piano falls behind them and they're just like,
yeah.
right. It's like it's like that kind of humor, right, through the entire show. Only it's done so well that like each character has their own little like thing that they love the most, right? Their own form of dark humor, and it's just the best. As far as the show on Wednesday, Amanda loved it. I really liked it, but it wasn't amazing, right? It didn't deserve all the praise it got because it's like the most watched Netflix show.
Yeah, it broke some records.
Yeah,
For US shows at least. I wonder if Squid Game is still in the lead, because what I saw is that it broke like the United States records.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it broke the United States records, but I say that I think there was like I don't know if this is true, but there was Johnny Depp was originally going to be Gomez, but then he was recast because of what happened, right? And then Tim Burton never brought him back.
What happened? I didn't hear.
Because him and Tim Burton are like best buds, right? So I guess a lot of people were pissed at him for that, but I mean, whatever, it's fine. The show still works because they're not even in it. The whole family isn't really in it. It's all about Wednesday, right? So, but she's great. The actress is great. It could have been better, but it gets the job done. Isn't she the sister in the second season of You? Sorry, one sec. The Wednesday actress? No. Wait, who is the sister? The sister of Joe or the sister of You? Like he's like You. I always forget her name. I just call her You because that's what he always calls her. I don't think it was her. I don't think Jenny Ortega was in that show. Is she? Man, dude, I did not even notice that.
You're getting no help from me and Zach on this one.
Kat and I are just happy to be
You gotta
here.
face this battle on your own.
Oh, the apartment block. Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry, you're correct. I tried to get my 4-day ticket for London Celebration, but they sold out so fast, and it also is too expensive right now. I've been in London this summer though. Yeah, it is very expensive. It's a small venue. Excel is relatively smaller than the Anaheim venue they had, so it's going to be more intimate, which is going to be, I think, better. And which means less ticket sales, right? Less tickets sold. But I'm excited for it. If any of you actually manage to end up going, that'd be super sick. But
I'm convinced that you could have just sneaked in, like, to the Anaheim one. Like, I feel like if you got something that looked like a badge and then just walked in, you could have
wait, well,
gotten
what
in.
was our consensus? I'm trying to like differentiate that in D23 because we've been at 3 conventions now at Anaheim, and I'm trying to remember what Celebration looked like. Because no, because okay, no. So every avenue is blocked to get into Celebration, but it was once you got past the gate, it was the booths and the like badge entry to get in early was not really enforced. But you
Yeah.
had to have a ticket to get in, right?
I
So
don't know. I just remember like walking in easily. Like I remember the first day like you had to go through like this line and like prove that you were vaccinated. But after that, I feel like they just kind of looked to see if you had the badge as you were walking in. Or did we have to get it scanned? I don't
they had to
remember.
scan it. They scanned it each time you went
Okay.
in. They scanned it. That's what they do at that convention center.
Okay, yeah.
And
Then
like there's 4 different areas to like be able to sneak in, but they're all covered with like celebration, like a big celebration fence, right? So I don't think you could have snuck into that one, but D23 I think you could have because a lot of people just there was way too many people and it was very poorly managed. So
I don't want to interrupt this party, but I have to actually leave. But y'all
this
keep
party's
going.
over.
well, we're closing out. It's all good. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And we will see you guys next time.
See ya later, everybody.
Bye, friends.